Welcome everybody to another episode of Geek Dad Reviews. I'm Brian.
And I'm Ryan.
And today we have DC's latest animated movie that we're going to be checking out. And, well, we checked it out. We're going to be reviewing it for you. Batman, Soul of the Dragon. Look at all that 70s pulp poster gorgeousness. Pretty good.
Sorry. Did I screw up your whole intro there?
No, it's fine. I was like, ooh, it's a pretty cover. Yeah, it's got a beautiful cover. It is out right now.
It's, never mind.
Whatever. Ryan knows what he's talking about. Shut up, Ryan, or else you'll get the punch of death. The 1-inch punch of doom. Yeah, Batman Soul of the Dragon is available right now for purchase or download on digital. So if you want to stop real quick, buy it, watch it, and then follow along with our review, you are more than welcome to. This is going to be a mostly spoiler-free review, but as always, if you don't want to know anything about this movie before you watch it, I suggest coming back after you've watched the movie. But anyway, you have been warned. But
you thank our friends at Warner Brothers for sending this to us to review. We always did a little quick disclaimer.
Thank you very much. You guys are the best. Ryan, I got a question for you. Have you ever sat down while you're just knitting sweaters or like doing chores and thought to yourself, you know what I'd really love in my life? I would really love a movie where Bruce Lee in Into the Dragon had Batman in it. That would be really cool. And and then you went on your couch and you started surfing through your channels and you just couldn't find one and you're just devastated. And then you came across our review that says, guess what? Batman Soul of the Dragon is basically, if you took Into the Dragon Bruce Lee and added Bruce Wayne into it, you'd get this movie. Would you say that's a pretty accurate description?
Throw in a little black exploitation, kung fu.
Oh yeah.
And gotta have, a lady that kicks butt too.
Okay,
and
so
you just created a better version of the Justice League.
so Batman Soul of the Dragon is a kind of a what they call it their Elseworlds stories. This is not considered part of the normal continual,
And they're not doing any continuum stuff right now. So all the stuff that we're getting from Warner Brothers right now are just one shot, just like.
Well, I don't think this is going to be a one shot. They definitely left the ending open for another movie.
No matter if they're going to do it or not.
Which I seriously hope we get because.
Find it.
Dude, I don't know about you, but this might be one of my favorite movies that they put out in a while. I really enjoyed this movie a lot.
It was a lot of fun. It had good music, which is interesting.
This is a 70s. This is a 70s movie through and through. They did not try and take like 70s ideas. No, this movie's set in the 70s. There are bell bottoms, sideburns, afros. Like it is all 70s.
But they didn't do it like I'm trying to think like the correct words, but they did it in a way that makes it relatable.
Yeah.
Still,
it doesn't feel like an antiquated.
That's the word I was looking for. It's understandable. Like you're like, oh, immediately you can tell they don't say Hong Kong 1973, and you're like, oh, okay, I figured it out. No, it's like from the presentation to the music to just the way it looks and feels of everything, to how the people talk and communicate. You're like, it's instantly in your head, like, oh, this is a crazy 1970s kung fu movie. Yeah. And you instantly get that right off the bat. Well,
and I grew up on kung fu movies, man. I love kung fu movies. This absolutely feels like a kung fu movie. It's random bad guys with ludicrous, like, over the top evilness and like a plot that makes it makes sense, but like this, we're gonna open a dimension to a demon realm. Okay, sure, whatever. Let's kick him in the face, right? You get bad guys just jumping out of nowhere. Like, you'll have a conversation, and all of a sudden a whole gang of ninjas just show up out of nowhere. And it's just great.
And it all made sense.
And, I will say one disclaimer. I really enjoyed this as far as Batman movie, but it's not your typical Batman movie. So, if you're expecting, I want Batman in full costume 24/7 doing Batman shit, this is not really that kind of movie. This is actually more of a Bruce Wayne movie than Batman, to the point where when Batman is in costume, I kind of wish he was just Bruce Wayne. I didn't even really want him to be Batman that much.
And toward the end, he kind of gets like pressured, like to put on the costume.
I did love the one thing. So, without spoiling too much of this movie, it's actually kind of cool. They kind of tell the stories of some of the villains. So Batman teams up with a bunch of villains that he trained with back in the day, and what's this guy's name? Richard Dragon. I don't know if he's a DC character or if they just made him up for this, but he's basically Bruce Lee. He even has the 1-inch punch like Bruce Lee. But they all team up to go on an adventure together, or to stop somebody. And they're all better trained than Bruce Wayne.
They've like been there for years. Yeah, and Bruce Wayne was only there for a really short period of time. He's got to punch a rock.
Yeah, and this is kind of like Batman Year One, right? He's still not quite like the Batman that we all know and love yet. But there's a point where they're like, oh, Batman's the only one left standing, and the villain's like, you're the weakest of everybody, and he's like. They're like, what makes you think you can defeat me? He's like, he goes, you're the weakest of everyone. He's like, yeah, but I have a cape. and he starts choking the dude with his cape. That was pretty funny. I was like,
that was the best. I was going to say that's the best use of a cape that I've seen.
Dude, it was just funny. He's like, yeah, but I have a cape. What makes you special? He's like, I have a cape. It was just, I don't know, it was really funny. I really liked it. But no, I mean, the movie was fun.
Your dragon, who realizes he's the strongest one of everyone, which I can see is probably why everyone got pissed off, because
this isn't really a Batman movie. It's a kung fu movie that has Batman in it.
Yeah, Batman needed someone to help him beat up a bad guy.
But I think that's fine. We don't always need Batman to be the Batman in every movie. If you want to watch a Batman movie, there's 10,000 of them.
This movie really did show that you can have a perfectly good movie of Bruce Wayne teaming up with people, doing Bruce Wayne stuff, and you can still fight. You don't need Batman in every single movie.
No, you don't. And I also really like this one because it was an actual movie. It wasn't just like, let's have Batman beat up the Joker for 45 minutes and stretch it into an hour and a half.
Batman was the focus of this movie.
It had a story. It had a fleshed out villain. It had a villain with purpose. It had multiple villains. It had characters that you got their backstory. You got the team up. You got the fight. It had great fight sequences. It was just a really good movie. Like, it was a good movie. Like, a lot of times with these animated movies, I really like them, but I have to kind of watch them in parts because you kind of lose interest because the plot's not there, even though the action... Like, I know the last generation of the DC animated movies, that was one of our biggest complaints, is that the movies themselves were beautiful and the action was amazing, but the story was just kind of... So we end up watching a lot. We have kids, so we end up watching these a lot of times late at night. And I always found myself kind of dozing off halfway through them. Not this one, man. I was putting together Legos while I was watching this, and I was like, I had to put aside everything I was doing because I was really invested in the movie and like, oh, what happened? What's going on? Oh, this is a good story. It's a good movie.
I started watching it while my wife had taken my son to his soccer practice, and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna try. I'll just get like 25 minutes in. Because my daughter's gonna want to do something, or I just let her play. And like normally, like she'd already been on the Xbox for an hour, so I was about at the time where I was supposed to cut her off. Mm-hmm. I let her play for 2.5 hours because I wanted to finish.
Because you want to finish the movie because it was a good movie.
I just watched the whole movie all the way through. Yeah. And she's like, I can keep playing. Like, yeah, keep playing.
Keep going. It's good. Like I said, I really enjoyed this. I really think DC, if this is what we're going to be getting from DC, I know we both like the Superman movie they released a few months ago. I kind of like this new direction that DC Animation's taking. I like the big when they do the big continuum and tell the main stories, but I actually kind of like these one-shots that kind of tell their own stories and just do some fun stuff. So, I don't know. I really enjoyed this. I would highly recommend it. I think it's an absolute watch. I would buy it, add it to my collection. The animation's great. The story is definitely one of the better ones. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, and if you like kung fu fighting action movie, this is 100% up your alley.
Oh yeah, this is a straight up. Whoever made this really enjoyed kung fu movies. Like grew up on, I was like, I want to make a kung fu movie, and they did, and it's good.
Yeah.
It's rated R. I would say not for younger kids, but it's not like over the top rated R. So your teenager could probably watch it easy. Your 12-year-old, 13-year-old.
I would go as young as 13.
Yeah.
Your 13-year-old would be fine watching. It's not like some of the other Batman movies where you're like, my
people get their spines ripped out. Yeah, no, this is it's violent, but it's not any more violent than you'd see on like a cable TV, like on a third to Fox show or something. So it's not too bad, but it is rated R, so I wouldn't recommend letting your smaller children watch it. It is fairly violent, but
yeah.
But I think that's about it. You got anything else you want to say?
No,
show us that beautiful cover again. What?
Yes. A beautiful cover, very shiny and reflective. Soul of the Dragon. You can get it now, like Brian said, on digital or
we
DVD.
watched the.
This is 4K Ultra HD.
Yeah, we watched.
It is freaking beautiful.
Yeah, so we watched it in 4K and it was gorgeous. So there are some bad reviews about this online. Ignore them all. I don't know what the hell they're talking about. I don't know what movie they watched, but.
If you're watching our review, you don't need to care about anyone else's.
Batman, Soul of the Dragon, available now. We highly recommend it. Check it out. Let us know what you think.
Get it.
Yes. Until next time, everyone, thanks for watching, and stay awesome.
And stay nerdy, everyone.